1. Introduction. My name is Margot. I am 22 years old. I am a college student. I spend my days studying and learning new things. My best friend is Jess. We go to the same college and have many classes together. We met during our first year of studies. We quickly became very close friends, almost like sisters. We spent a lot of time with each other. We shared many laughs and made many good memories. We studied hard for our exams together. We talked about everything, our deepest secrets, our biggest dreams for the future, and any problems we had. Our friendship was very strong and important to me. I trusted Jess completely. I often visited Jess's house on weekends or after classes. Her family had a lovely home. They were always very kind and welcoming to me. Every time I went there, I felt comfortable and happy. It truly felt like a second home where I could relax and be myself. Jess's father is Alex. He was always a polite and respectful man. He was calm and friendly to everyone, always ready to help. At first, I saw him as a good, caring father figure. He seemed to genuinely care about Jess and her friends, always making sure we were okay. He often cooked delicious dinners for us when I was visiting. He sometimes drove us to the cinema or other places we wanted to go. He would always ask about our college classes and how our studies were going, showing real interest. He was always helpful, kind, and seemed like a very respectable man. He treated me with warmth, almost like his own daughter, which I greatly appreciated. But lately, something has changed. His behavior has shifted in a way that I cannot quite understand. This change started subtly a few weeks ago, and now it feels much more noticeable. His eyes look at me differently now. They stay on me for a bit too long, not like a father or a friend's father should. It is a new kind of gaze. His smile has also changed. It feels warmer now and deeper, almost too intense for a casual friendship. It is definitely not the simple, friendly smile I knew before. This new look and smile make me feel strange and uneasy inside. It is a little unsettling and makes me feel uncomfortable. I feel a new kind of nervousness when he is around me, a feeling I never had before. I do not understand why he has changed so much. I am not sure what these new looks and actions mean, and it creates a lot of confusion. I try to ignore these feelings, to tell myself it is nothing important, but the discomfort is always there, a quiet whisper in my mind. This new feeling is hard to explain to anyone, even to myself, because it feels so wrong. It is a new and very unusual experience for me, and I truly do not know what to do about it. 2. The way he looks at me. One evening, I was at Jess's house to study. I sat at the kitchen table with my books. Jess went upstairs to find her phone charger, leaving me alone. Alex, Jess's father, was also in the kitchen. He stood near the counter, just looking at me. Then he spoke softly. "You have become a beautiful woman, Margot," he said. My body froze. This was the first time he had said something like that. I felt very uncomfortable. I did not know how to answer. I gave a small, quick laugh, trying to act like I did not understand. I quickly looked back at my books. After that day, I felt nervous every time I went to Jess's house. My stomach would feel strange. The comfortable feeling was gone. Before, it was a warm and happy place. Now, I always felt a little afraid. I did not want to be alone with Alex. I tried to make sure Jess was always in the same room. I started to notice more about him. His eyes followed me often. When I talked to Jess, I could feel his eyes on me. Sometimes I looked up and he quickly looked away. His voice also sounded different. When he spoke to me, it was lower and slower. This made me feel even more uneasy. I tried to tell myself I was wrong. Maybe I am just imagining these things, I thought. I tried to believe it was all in my head. I told myself Alex was still the same kind man. I wanted to think I was being silly. But deep inside, I knew it was not my imagination. The way he looked at me, the way he spoke, it was all real. His persistent stares made me feel constantly watched. It was like he was always there. The change in his voice felt like he had a secret involving only me. I did not like this feeling. I wanted things to go back to how they were before. I wanted to feel safe and happy at Jess's house again. But now a shadow was over everything. I still visited Jess, my best friend, but each visit was hard. I tried to act normal, to smile and laugh, but inside I was always waiting for his eyes, waiting for his voice. The way he looked at me had changed everything. It made me feel confused and scared. I did not know what to do. 3. The dinner invitation. A week later, Jess told me her father wanted to invite me for dinner again. "He really likes when you visit," Jess said. "You make the house feel cheerful." I found it hard to refuse, so I agreed to go to their house for dinner. That evening, I arrived at Jess's house. We sat at the dining table. Alex gave me a lot of attention during the meal. He poured my drink and served my food. He asked me many questions, but not many to Jess. Jess did not seem to notice this. She was on her phone for most of the dinner. I felt uncomfortable with Alex's focus on me. I tried to act normal and answer his questions politely. I did not enjoy the food much. My mind was busy with Alex's behavior. After dinner, Alex asked if I could stay a bit longer. He said he wanted to talk about a job opportunity. This surprised me. Jess did not ask questions. She said good night and went upstairs. She left us alone in the living room. My heart beat faster. I felt nervous being alone with him again. I sat on the sofa and Alex sat near me. He looked at me closely. Then he said something that shocked me. "Margot," he began, his voice low, I think about you all the time." My mind raced. I could not believe he said those words. I quickly told him this was wrong. I reminded him I was Jess's best friend. I told him he should not talk to me like that. He just looked at me with a sad smile. He said, "I can't help it." His words made me feel very scared. I stood up quickly. I knew I had to leave. I said goodbye and walked out of the house. I felt very shaken. My hands trembled. I walked home, confused and upset. The evening showed me that my fears were real. 4 gifts and messages. After the dinner, things became difficult. Alex started to send me text messages. At first, his messages were polite. He asked if I arrived home safely. He also asked about my studies. I hoped he would stop. But soon, his messages changed. They became personal. He wrote things like, "You looked so beautiful yesterday." Another said, "I wish we could spend time alone." These messages made me feel uncomfortable. I did not reply to his texts. I hoped he would stop, but he did not. He kept sending more messages. One morning, I was at college. I opened my school bag to get a book. Inside, I found a small box. It was not mine. I opened the box carefully. Inside was a pretty silver bracelet. There was also a small note. The note said, "You deserve something special." My hands shook. I knew this gift was from Alex. He must have put it in my bag when I was not looking. I felt a cold fear inside me. This was too much. I felt very scared and trapped. How could he do this? I did not know what to do. I could not tell Jess about this. She was my best friend, but Alex was her father. How could I tell her her own dad was doing these things? I knew she would not believe me. Or she would be very angry and sad. I did not want to hurt her. So I kept this secret inside. It was a heavy secret. I started to avoid going to Jess's house. I made many excuses. I said I was busy with studies or that I had other plans. Jess did not understand why I was suddenly so distant. She called me and asked, "Why are you always busy? Don't you want to come over?" She sounded sad and confused. I felt bad for Jess, but I could not go to her house. Being there made me nervous. I worried about seeing Alex. I worried about what he might say or do. I felt caught between my friendship with Jess and the shame of what her father was doing. It was a very hard time. I wanted things to go back to how they were, but I knew they could not. 5. The vacation offer. Summer arrived, bringing warmer days and longer evenings. One afternoon, Jess called me. She sounded full of excitement. "Margot," she said, "my dad has a wonderful plan. He wants us to go to our beach house for the whole weekend." My heart felt heavy when I heard her words. I did not want to go. I thought about Alex, about the uncomfortable looks and the secret messages. Going to their beach house meant spending much more time with him. I knew it would be difficult to avoid him there. I tried to find an excuse. I told Jess I was very busy with college work. I said I had other plans for the weekend, but Jess did not give up easily. She kept asking and asking. "Please, Margot," she begged. "It will be so much fun. We have not done anything together in many months. Just imagine the sun, the sand, and the ocean. We can relax and forget about everything." She made the trip sound like a perfect escape. She sounded sad when I hesitated. I did not want to hurt her feelings. She was my best friend, and I did not want her to think I was avoiding her. So after a long conversation, I finally said yes. I agreed to go to the beach house with them. We drove to the beach house on Friday afternoon. The house was large and had a beautiful view of the sea. I tried to act normal to enjoy the trip. Jess was very happy, pointing out the waves and the beach. Alex also acted like a normal father. He smiled and talked about the good weather. But I could still feel his eyes on me at different times. It made me feel uneasy. I tried to ignore it. That first night, after dinner, Jess said she was very tired. She went to bed early. I did not feel sleepy. I walked out to the balcony. I wanted to see the stars and listen to the sound of the ocean. The night air was cool and quiet. Only the soft sound of the waves broke the silence. Then Alex came out onto the balcony. He stood next to me. He was very close, too close. My heart started to beat fast. I felt a cold fear. He looked at me with a serious face. His voice was low when he spoke. "Margot," he said, "there is something important you must know." I waited, holding my breath. "I am in love with you," he said. The words shocked me. I could not believe what I was hearing. My best friend's father was telling me he loved me. It felt terribly wrong. "No," I said quickly. "You cannot say that. This is not right. I am your daughter's friend. I am not interested." He looked at me with sad eyes. He whispered, "You do not understand what you do to me." I felt a deep terror. I knew I had to leave. I turned and went inside the house. I ran to my room, closed the door, and locked it. My hands were shaking badly. I sat on my bed, feeling trapped and scared. The night felt very long. 6. The truth comes out. After the trip to the beach house, Margot felt terrible. She could not stop thinking about Alex's words. She knew she had to stay away from Jess. It was hard, but Margot stopped answering Jess's phone calls and text messages. When Jess asked to meet, Margot always said no, making excuses about schoolwork or feeling sick. Margot hoped Jess would not ask too many questions. She did not want to see Jess because it felt like a lie. Every time her phone rang, Margot felt scared. She did not want to hurt Jess, but she could not pretend anymore. Jess noticed Margot was avoiding her. She felt confused and then angry. Jess tried many times to talk to Margot. After a week, Jess went to Margot's dorm room. She knocked loudly. Margot felt her heart beat fast. She knew this moment would come. She opened the door slowly. Jess stood there, her face red. "What is going on, Margot?" Jess asked. Her voice was loud. "Why are you avoiding me? Did my dad say something to you at the beach house?" Margot looked at her best friend. She saw the anger in Jess's eyes. Margot did not want to tell her. She did not want to break Jess's heart. But Margot knew she could not keep the secret any longer. It was too heavy. She took a deep breath. "Jess," Margot started, her voice quiet, "I need to tell you something important about your father." Margot began to explain everything. She told Jess about Alex's compliments when they were alone. She spoke about the dinner when Alex said he thought about her. Margot told Jess about the text messages and the bracelet Alex left in her bag. Finally, Margot described the night at the beach house. She told Jess that Alex said he loved her. Margot explained how she felt scared and confused. She said she had tried to stop him many times. Jess listened, but her face became redder. Her hands were tight fists. When Margot finished speaking, Jess shouted. "You are lying, Margot," Jess yelled. "My dad would never do that." "He is a good man. You are making this up." Tears filled Margot's eyes. It hurt to hear Jess say that. Margot felt deep sadness. She looked at Jess. "Jess, I wish I was lying," Margot said softly. Her voice was full of pain. "But it is the truth." Jess did not believe her. She shook her head. "I don't believe you," she said again. Then Jess turned quickly. She stormed out of Margot's room. The door closed loudly. Margot stood alone in her room. Tears ran down her face. She sat on her bed and cried for a long time. The friendship she loved was broken. It felt like a part of her heart was gone. Everything felt sad and empty. 7. The confrontation. A few days passed, heavy with silence. I stayed in my dorm room, feeling lost and alone. I thought my friendship with Jess was broken forever. Then, one afternoon, there was a knock on my door. It was Jess. Her face looked tired and her eyes were red. She looked different from the angry person who had left my room. She stood there for a moment, then she spoke. Her voice was soft. "Margot," she said, "I am so sorry." My heart felt a mix of hope and fear. I did not know what to say. Jess walked into the room. "I talked to him," she continued, her voice trembling. "My dad, I asked him about everything you told me. At first, he tried to deny it. He said you were confused, but I kept asking." She took a deep breath. Finally, he admitted it. He said it was true, all of it. Jess's eyes filled with fresh tears. "We argued for hours," she explained. "I yelled at him. I told him he had ruined everything. He ruined our family. He ruined our friendship." Her voice broke. "He begged me to forgive him. He said he was sorry, but I could not. I told him I never wanted to see him act that way again." I watched her, my own eyes starting to sting. I could see her deep pain. "I was so angry at him," Jess said, her voice shaking. "And I was so angry at myself for not believing you. You were my best friend and I pushed you away. Can you ever forgive me?" I walked closer to her. My sadness had been strong, but now, seeing her hurt, I knew we were still friends. "Jess," I said, my voice quiet, "I understand. It was difficult for you to hear. He is your father." We hugged each other tightly. It was a long hug, full of shared sorrow and relief. We both cried. The tears were for the confusion, for the broken trust, and for the difficult truth. They were for everything that had changed. Our friendship had been strong, but this event had hurt it deeply. We knew it would take time to heal. The house that once felt like a warm family home now carried heavy memories. It was a place of secrets and deep pain. 8. My lesson. After everything that happened, I never saw Alex again. It was a strange feeling. A part of me felt relief, like a heavy weight was gone. But another part felt sad for Jess and for what her family had lost. I knew he was no longer in the house where we used to spend so much time. His absence was a quiet end to a very difficult time. Jess made a brave choice. She decided to move out of the house. She went to live with her mother. This was a big change for her. She needed to be away from her father after what he had done. It was not easy for her, but she felt it was the right thing to do. She needed space to heal and to think about everything. It showed me how strong she was, even when she was very sad. Our friendship, Jess's and mine, slowly started to get better. It was like a plant that was broken but still had roots. We talked more, but not about everything like before. There was a new quietness between us sometimes. We understood each other in a different way now. The easy laughter we once shared did not come as often. It was a friendship that had changed forever. We had been through something very difficult together, and that kind of shared pain changes people. Something innocent had been broken between us, and it could not be put back exactly as it was. I spent many hours thinking about what happened. I thought about the first time Alex looked at me in a strange way. I remembered the gifts and the messages. I thought about how scared I was. I also thought about how hard it was to tell Jess the truth. All these memories taught me a big lesson. I learned that what looks like care can sometimes hide something dangerous. It was confusing to understand at first, but now it was clear. The most important thing I learned was about speaking up. For a long time, I stayed silent. I was afraid to tell anyone, especially Jess. I thought I would make things worse, but my silence did not protect me. It only made the fear grow bigger. It made me feel alone. When I finally spoke, it was hard, but it was also the start of healing. It was the only way to make the bad situation stop. I understood then that silence can be very dangerous. It can let bad things continue. It can hurt you deeply inside, like a hidden cut that never truly heals. These are what I call deep scars. They are not on your skin, but in your heart and mind. So, my lesson is this: if something feels wrong, no matter who it is, you must speak. You must find your voice. Do not let silence turn a secret into a scar that stays with you always. It is better to speak and face the truth, even if it is hard.